Hey everyone, Zuff here from Mafia Games. Today we're diving into one of our new exciting features, Train Networks. Introduced in Update 4.1, this system completely changes how you'll handle logistics on your island. The best way to think about Train Networks is as an automated dispatcher. Instead of you managing every single route, you just tell the network which stations need service and where your train should park when they're idle. Let's dive in and go over just how powerful networks can be. Right now we're looking at a traditional train setup. We've got individual lines running resources from our various mines and other resource extraction sites, all feeding into the plant near our settlement. While traditional train lines work great with simpler setups, like getting products from point A to B, as you expand you'll notice they don't scale very efficiently. Eventually you'll have multiple lines all doing close to the same thing with just minor changes in each of their rules. For example, a line for each of the mines on your map that brings back their respective ore to a smelting plant. Every time you add an additional product source, you need to set up a new line all over again, with slightly adjusted rules and new trains. If you try to consolidate, you have to micromanage how many trains are on a single line and how to ensure each mine site is attended to evenly. It can be quite a task to ensure trains aren't running empty or making unnecessary trips, often requiring complex scheduling and fiddling with arrival and departure conditions just to keep things moving. This is where the train network comes in to save the day. Now you can add an additional station and let the network handle the rest. Even better, networks allow sharing trains, so a train that just delivered coal can now haul iron ore. This leads to fewer idle trains and more efficiency overall. Before we flip the switch, there are a couple of things we need to set up. The most important addition required by a train network is waiting bays. Think of these as parking spots. When a train isn't assigned a job, it waits in a waiting bay for its next assignment instead of sitting on the tracks, where it could block a station or cause a gridlock. As soon as the network generates a job, it assigns the closest available train from a waiting bay. Once the job is done, and if there's nothing else to do, the train will return to the closest available waiting bay to sit idle until a new job is dispatched to it from the network. Just a quick tip, make sure your waiting bays are long enough to fit your longest train on the network. You don't want the tail end of a train hanging out into an intersection and causing a gridlock. Time to build the network. Open your Train Lines Manager, hit New Network, and give it a name. For this setup, we'll call it Ore and Water. In the Network Stations tab, we'll add our loading and unloading points, which we call cargo stations. Using Add Station to Group, we can drag our mouse across the map to grab multiple stations at once. Just do a quick double check to make sure you didn't accidentally add a station that doesn't belong within this network. We'll do the same thing for our waiting bays. Just click that Add Station to Group button again and select the tracks we designated for parking. You also want to assign a fuel station or two. Network trains are smart enough to go refuel when they're running low as long as the fuel station is a part of their network. Dedicated fueling stations are usually a better choice than making fuel available at loading or unloading stations, especially when mixing fuel types. Keep in mind, if that fuel station needs to be refilled by the network itself, you'll need to add it to your cargo stations list too. Just make sure you have another station on the network actually providing the fuel. Your train network should be all set. It's time for the muscle, the trains. In a network setup, each train can only carry one type of cargo. Either all loose, all unit products, or all fluids. The system won't accept trains with mixed wagons. Make sure to build enough trains to cover the different needs of your network. In this example, we'll start with 6 trains, each with 4 loose cargo wagons. These will be our workhorses, hauling everything from mined ore to dirt. We'll also make 2 4-wagon liquid trains to handle water delivery to the settlement and diesel delivery to the refueling stations. Once these trains are assigned, your network is fully operational. Now you can step back and watch the automation take over. Now that our network is up and running, we can fine-tune network settings to optimize the jobs created. Select any cargo station added to the network and open the Network Rules tab to see sliders for every product at that station. These sliders control when the station will interact with the network. For unloading modules, the slider controls how much of a product the station will actively request from the network. For unloading modules, the slider controls how much stored product the network will actively try to send elsewhere. These work just like truck logistics, letting you control how actively each station imports or exports goods. By default, Unloading stations request products until their stored amount reaches 100%. The loading stations have the default set to 0%, meaning nothing is forced out and products are only sent when another station requests them. These defaults work for most networks, but you can manually adjust the sliders to control how actively products are requested or pushed out. For example, in a station that is supplying products, moving the red slider to the middle will tell the network to actively try to get rid of products above 50% of its capacity to any available station that has the capacity to receive it. You can tell an active job is dispatched for this product by the indicator line beneath the slider. If no job is being created and the station holds goods above the set level, this could mean that either no other station on the network is able to take the products offered or there are no free trains available. We'll cover more of this in greater detail later in troubleshooting. You can also limit how many trains are allowed to head to a single station at once. This is a lifesaver for smaller stations where too many trains arriving at the same time would just cause a traffic jam. However, note that limiting the train count also limits the overall throughput, as only that amount of trains can ever be en route. Station modules have finite storage, and the network is designed to only dispatch jobs to stations that can fully accommodate the specific volume of product being moved. Since the system prioritizes sending trains that will be fully utilized, small station capacities can bottleneck your logistics and lead to lower throughput. To increase available job pool and efficiency, you can expand this capacity by connecting additional storage. Capacity from units built directly attached to station modules is accounted for automatically. For any detached facilities, use the Link Storages tool to manually add them to the shared pool. This ensures that the train network recognizes these resources as available, but it is up to you to properly connect them to the train station modules with sufficient throughput. While in the Line Manager window and examining your train network, you can click on the Statistics tab to see the current supply, demand, and current active transfers of product. This can help you diagnose issues on your network, like if there's more demand for a product than is being provided by other stations. At a glance, this can quickly help spot weak points in your network. This could indicate that you need more trains to help with a busy network or that one of your stations is underperforming. Here are some troubleshooting steps and a handful of tips to get the most out of your networks. If your trains are just sitting in waiting bays doing nothing, it's likely because the network can't find a valid job to create. First, make sure all cargo stations are added to the correct network. You can select the station and see what train lines and networks it belongs to. Next, make sure the math works. Networks will only dispatch trains if both ends of the job have accommodating storage. There needs to be enough cargo available to load and enough free storage space at the destination to unload. If either side doesn't support the delivery, the network simply won't create the job. This is where your sliders and link storages become really important. Make sure your provider stations actually have enough resources available and that your destination stations have enough room to accept a delivery and are actively requesting it, for example with sliders at 100%. If you're using external storage connected by belts or pipes, don't forget to link those storages to the station, so the network can account for that extra capacity and recognize that a full trip is possible. Each station connected to a train network can set a priority for every product it handles. These priorities tell the network which products should be serviced first when multiple jobs are available. High priority products will receive dispatch trains before lower priority products. Use this for critical materials like food, water, fuel, and other key products, while letting less urgent products like dirt and rock wait for available trains. Bigger trains are not always better. If your stations only have enough storage space for a few wagons worth of cargo, oversized trains may run partial deliveries. The train network will always try to run the largest train available that will be fully utilized. But if there are none available and the pending job already utilizes 100% of the station capacity, the network will dispatch a larger train that will not be fully utilized. If this is happening regularly, make sure to build more smaller trains or extend station capacity via linked storages. If you want to ensure that only some stations are serviced by long trains, make a separate network for them. Stations can be shared between multiple networks, giving you more control over what trains can go to which stations. Waiting bay placement can make a surprisingly big difference. If all of your idle trains are parked on the opposite side of the island, jobs can take much longer to respond to, especially in larger factories with constant demand. Try placing waiting bays close to high traffic production areas so trains can react quickly when stations request cargo and spend less time and fuel when going to and from jobs. Keep in mind that when a train network is busy, trains don't need to return to the waiting bays. They can get jobs directly after finishing their previous job. Finally, waiting areas can be used as a quick overview of how busy networks are. When there are no waiting trains, it may be time to add more trains to the network. When full, build more waiting lines or retire some trains. Train networks and traditional train lines can fully interoperate with each other. Stations can belong to both systems at the same time, and rail reservations from one system are respected by the other. This makes it easy to gradually integrate networks into existing rail systems. Train station modules share products internally. If a station does not need extremely high throughput, you can often feed the entire station using 1 or 2 belts or pipes, and the modules themselves will balance the cargo automatically. While mixed trains are not supported in train networks, mixed stations work perfectly fine. Just make sure modules handling the same products are placed next to each other so trains can load and unload properly without unnecessary movement. And that's it. You've got the basics of a solid train network down. If you're stuck, comment here or come hang out with us on our new forum at koigame.com. You can also find us on Discord, Reddit, or Steam, all linked in the description below. Good luck, Captains.